So, sorry. So this is the last session before the coffee, and should not be too long. So we have seen a lot of let's say MySQL database service and HeatWave in OCI, and and we also saw Shell before. So I want to show you MySQL Shell for Visual Studio Code and how we are working to integrate everything, the cool stuff you saw, very easy, more easy for the developers. Of course, it's still in process; not everything is there, but it's already a nice tool, much easy for developers. So who is using MySQL Shell? Just Shell. Who is using MySQL Visual Studio Code? And so who is using MySQL Shell in Visual Studio Code? Or two. So yeah, I'm still the same as yesterday. Yes, tomorrow maybe it could be different after the community dinner, but so I want to start with something very cool, and Matteo even says something that it's not present there that I should remember for next time. It's about the terminology. So OCI is the Oracle Cloud Infrastructure, I think you all say. But when we say MySQL HeatWave, what is that, right? What's that beast? So MySQL HeatWave, in fact, is also the generic name for the MySQL HeatWave database service that we call MHS. And the database, or before we were also calling, or you can see still in the manual or still in some tooling, MySQL database service, MDS. So, but all this is also, it's called MySQL HeatWave. Then we have MySQL HeatWave cluster, which is the OLTP and OLAP accelerator in memory using the rapid secondary engine that we have seen earlier. So, so when we say MySQL HeatWave, sometimes, what does it mean? So I think a lot of people think this is only the MySQL HeatWave stuff, but MySQL HeatWave is also the service. So everything that Louis showed you before, for example, and it's something I really like to talk to the community, say, oh, look, because some people say, yeah, if HeatWave is not open source, the HeatWave, this part, right, we are less interested or we don't have the need for it. Totally understand that if people doesn't need that, they don't, it's a service. Use it or you don't use it. But don't forget that also this is also the service, and everything we are making there to make it better, the service goes back to the server, goes back to the community. So everything that Louis and his team were doing for making replication, better observability, all that kind of stuff, goes back to the community also. So I think it would be nice to say that so HeatWave also it's leading the MySQL community development, right? So now this is clear, and this is the terminology, which is not that clear, but we know a bit more. So I don't want to talk only about everything you can do with the shell, right? And certainly not the shell in Visual Studio Code, but I want to show you how you can do or you can work with MySQL HeatWave database service with the shell in Visual Studio Code. So when you want to install it, you type MySQL Shell in Visual Studio Code. You can see if it's Oracle Corporation, the blue one, that's the official one because there are plenty of extensions for MySQL. And this is the one you can install, or you can install it from the command like this. So its name is Oracle MySQL Shell for VS Code. You get this page. You click install. It's still in preview. The team is working very hard right now to make it to get rid of the preview, I would say, and I think it will be at the same time as the LTS version of MySQL. But no, nothing promised here. But that's the plan to have something, let's say, out of the preview very soon. So you click on next. And then it needs, on MySQL, it needs to install some certificates, right? On Linux, so this is what happens on Linux, depending on what you use, it could be different, right? And then you continue. So it installs some packages and it's done. When it's created, you need to reload the Visual Studio Code, and this is what we have. So we have the nice MySQL logo here, and this is what we have. Database connections, so if you want to create connection from a remote server you have, or your local machine or whatever, it's there. But what I'm very interested here today is the Oracle infrastructure here on the cloud, OCI infrastructure. So you click there and you have the config file where you will paste the information that for your account to connect to OCI. So this information, if you go on the OCI web console, you go in your user and you get that information. And if you click API keys, you choose one of them, view configuration, and you have the data you just need to paste. Cut and paste, you paste it here, and that's it. So now the Visual Studio Code shell, it's configured to communicate with OCI. And you can already see here that I have some stuff available. So what does that mean? So when you see the nice Sakila dolphin with the cloud, it doesn't mean that Sakila is in Belgium. It means just that Sakila is the MySQL database service. When there is some fire next to it, it means that it's not a barbecue. It's the MySQL database system that has HeatWave cluster, but it doesn't mean it's enabled. It just means that it is possible to have the cluster on, to use the acceleration on this service. But then you need also, and you can see it's red on this case, or the other one was white, depending. Also red, orange, and green mean if you can access it, if it's available. Orange means it's updating, red means it's powered off. And then if you click on it here, you can also, I will show you, you can activate the cluster if you want. This is a compute instance or a HeatWave node. They use the same logo, a Bastion host. I will also go into that later. OCI load balancer, MySQL router. So this is what you will see when you are connected. So now what you do, you open your sandbox or your environment, and you can see here your machine and your DB systems. You right click, and for example, what you can do, you can start the system from the Visual Studio Code. You can restart the system, you can stop the system, and then we will see also how to add, activate the HeatWave cluster and so on. You can also, for a developer, sometime, depending where you are, certainly with remote work and stuff like that, it's not always very easy. Because the plan when you are in OCI, it's not that everybody connects to your connects to the database from everywhere. It's more that, oh, my application will be in the cloud, and my application will connect to the database service, and I will be connecting to the application from web if it's a web application. But you have also a Bastion service. It's a free service that allows you to create a connection via the Bastion service. So from wherever you were. So it, with key and so you need, with all your OCI information, it will create the Bastion service for you. And when you are in the Bastion service, this is what you have. And you can see here, it's an IP inside the VCN, the private in OCI. So it's not directly accessible, but you will say, oh, I want to connect using the OCI Bastion. And it will create that machine, and it will create a SSH tunnel to that machine, so you will be able to connect directly to the database. Now it's created here. And when you go on it, you are just connected to the database, and you can do whatever you want now. And it has, like you can see, tab completion and so on. So here I am connected from my laptop to OCI to my DB instance. and this is what you see when you type enter in your information. So this is the first thing you see, how to connect to that MySQL database instance in OCI. After that, we can also have the possibility in the Visual Studio Code MySQL Shell extension to have some administration, and you have server status, so you can see what information about the server. And something you can see there is that, for example, it uses MySQL Enterprise. So every time you deploy a MySQL database instance in OCI, it uses the enterprise version of MySQL. So the version, and then you have plenty of information, and you can see that it has the thread pool enabled, the rich performance schema activated, and so on. Then you have also the client connections information, so like the process list, and some nice graphs on the performance dashboard. So all that information, it's also available through the Visual Studio Code MySQL Shell extension. And yeah, you have some graph. This doesn't replace full monitoring, but I'll give you some information when you check what's going on. So we have seen, I don't think we've seen much this time, but we have discussed, and we discussed about MySQL Shell dump and load data. Yeah, they did. Nikolai explained about how to load data and stuff. But also here, you can, from the shell, say, oh, I want to dump some data to disk, because I will load it somewhere else. But you can say also, oh, I want to dump some data to disk for the MySQL database service. It means it will check and make some changes if needed, that your the data you are dumping will be compatible with MySQL database service. For example, do I have primary key? And you can add it. Or what are the privileges of the people if I want to dump a full instance and stuff like that. So all that is checked there and it's loaded. And this is what it will add. It will add create invisible primary key. It will force in ODB. So if you are dumping a table that is not in ODB, when it will go to OCI, it has to be in ODB. Invalid accounts, strip definers, restricted grants, strip table space. Yeah, you don't have, you cannot decide where are the table space in OCI. All that is managed by the MySQL team over there. So it will strip all that information if you put table space locally, if you put table space in different directories and stuff like that, that information is gone. Then you just load the data from the disk, and this is how it works. So here you don't have copy instance or stuff like that yet. Maybe it will come, but for the moment, no. But I'm almost sure that all this stuff we do in the shell, it will be possible to have them here soon and make it even more easy. So yeah, here I did the dump, and now I loaded the dump, and you can see I loaded the dump successfully. You have always the output information, what it is doing, and stuff like that. You have all that information in the extension. So I said earlier, you have HeatWave instances, but there is also the HeatWave cluster, so it is all this in-memory acceleration. So when you have a database instance, you can say, oh, for example, this one, you can see it is has no cluster. You say, oh, I want to add a HeatWave cluster to it. So if it allows it, you will have how many nodes you want and stuff like that. So here I took one that was already ready for HeatWave, and I say, okay, now start the HeatWave cluster, or you can say I stop the HeatWave cluster and use it only when you need, so you pay only for what you use. Or you can say, oh, I want to rescale the HeatWave cluster. This is what I'm showing here. You can say, oh, now I want to, of course, even, and I made some tests and blog about that. If all your data fits in one HeatWave cluster, you say, oh, it's enough. It's much faster than MySQL. But can it be even much faster? Of course, adding another node will make it almost twice faster. I don't say it's a linear that it will always be the case, but having more nodes, depending on what you need to do, could make stuff much faster also. So, and this is how you, from here, you can do that. You can say, oh, I want to add a new node in my cluster, and you can change the shape, what type of shape you want to, and you load it. Something also, when you use HeatWave cluster, I don't know if you have already used it, but a lot of stuff, and you saw it in the previous session too, are made by sys functions or sys call, like this one, HeatWave load to load. So earlier I dump and loaded the menagerie database schema. Now I want to load it into HeatWave. I need to create that, and there are some options and stuff. And like usual, I completely forgot what are the options, and I always need to go to the manual. And it's true that the manual also needs updates often because there are new stuff and stuff like that. So this is the best way to get the information about the options. So you use JSON object output help, which, to be honest, it's complicated to write, but when you know it, it's good. But from the shell extension, you can say, oh, I want to load data to HeatWave cluster. And so you can see, you take your schema, right click, load the data to the cluster. And here you have all the options. It asks you, oh, do you want to disable the unsupported column? Do you want to optimize the load parallelism, enable memory check, and stuff like that. So when you are ready, you do OK, and it does everything for you directly from the shell. So you don't need to go in SQL and call all these store procedures and know how to use them. So, like the shell, the normal shell, can we extend this friendship between the shell and the cloud in a CI? Of course, because even there you can extend it if you want. We are working on it. You see the team are adding stuff, but if you really want, you can do whatever you want in it, because you can have some plugins. And here I just wanted to show one of the plugins I made, that it's called Get User Grants. So it shows the grants of the users. But for example, I say, oh, get user grant with OCI MySQL database service true, meaning that it will remove the grants that are not compatible with OCI, for example. Like here, I think there was super, you don't have that, the super privilege in OCI in MySQL database service, so it's removed and stuff like that. So you can just click and paste, and it's easy. And I have plenty of other stuff like that. So this is, like I promised, not too long, because there is the coffee, and also because it was just to show you MySQL shell for Visual Studio Code. So do you have questions? Other than, is the coffee ready? I hope. No questions? Perfect. Coffee time. Let's meet again at, it's 4, the next talk, right? Let's meet again at 4 for the last round before the coffee.